Well, holy smokes, what an amazing year we had in video games in 2023. So this is going to be my favorite games of the year in 2023. These are 6 of my top favorite games that I absolutely loved, completed, fell in love with. I have a bunch of runners up that I'll also get to, ones that didn't quite make the list in my cream of the crop, but nevertheless had a blast playing. And I'll just say this, I hadn't played games this heavily for a number of years. So in 2023 was the year I really came back in to play a lot of video games, and what a year I picked. My God, this might be the busiest, craziest, largest blockbuster year in video gaming history. I mean, let me know in the comments below, has there been a bigger year that you've enjoyed? Because this one was absolutely huge. I don't know that we'll have another year like this for many, many years to come. So this was quite a year for me to dive in, and I played a lot of games and really enjoyed a lot of games this year. So I put together a list of about 6 that I really feel like were at the top of my list. And these are my favorite games, and in an order from 6 down to 1. These are my favorite games of the year. And I really put a lot of thought into these. I sat there with the boxes and the cover art, and just sat there and staring at them and really thinking about them over the past few weeks here as I was gathering up my thoughts for the end of the year. So there are some, though, that didn't quite make the cut, and those are the runners-up. So let's just start with some of the runners-up here. So on one of my runners-up this year that I loved was a little fishing game, a little dredging game called Dredge. Loved this Lovecraftian mystery fishing boat captain story where you're having to dredge things up from the deep. I really loved this game from Black Salt Games. Really beautiful, and I did a previous video. Well, first of all, I deep dived, get it? This game. I did a whole review of Dredge, but then I did a follow-up for games that I completed this year, and I nearly 100%ed this, all the side quests. I got very, very close, but I completed the main story and most of the side quests. And I said in that video, wouldn't it be great if they teamed up collaboratively, kind of like Dead Cells and Castlevania? And did Dead Cells Return to Castlevania? Wouldn't it be great if they came up with like a Dredge crossover to some game? And lo and behold, about a few days after I said that, we learned that Dave the Diver, another amazing indie game of the year, they're coming together, collaborating to create a Dredge Dave the Diver team up, and I can't wait to see what that looks like. Again, what a surprise this game was, Dredge. Another surprise for me, I'd never played a Pikmin game before. Pikmin 4, loved this game. It was my first Pikmin game. Loved Ochi, loved the exploration, loved the beautiful scenery, the backyards, all of the different colors of Pikmin with their different powers and the strategy. I didn't know what to expect. I'd never played one before. I just knew you were little Pikmin guys going around a backyard. Now it made me want to go and play all the original Pikmins, 1, 2, and 3 on the Switch, and now, of course, this one's available on the Switch as well. I completed this game, and again, another runner-up as a really enjoyable game. And another Switch game. Well, I've got a whole pile of Switch games here today, to be honest with you, but another Switch game that was a runner-up. But I absolutely loved this game of Super Mario Brothers Wonder. I think it's probably, and I've called it a masterpiece. I think it's the best 2D Mario Brothers game ever made. I feel that way about it. Maybe I'll go back and play some of the other ones to really refresh my memory on it. But I felt like this really stood out. I love the Wonder Seeds. I love the colors, the whimsy of the characters, like everything down to little like Goombas and their eyes moving, and there were so many little moments in this game that just made it thoroughly enjoyable to me. So another runner-up, loved this game and completed it, but there was a few Wonder Seeds. There were a few things in the game that I missed, so I'm definitely going to go back and want to play this. I also want to collect all of the standees. I didn't get all of the standees, but this is a game you could return to over and over and over again with your family. Okay, another runner-up. When this came out, I immediately downloaded it on the Switch, and that was Red Dead Redemption. Love this. I never played it, and it was a treat for me to be able to play this for the very first time. So this was a release in 2023 on the Nintendo Switch, and it also comes with Undead Nightmare. Love the open world Western vibe, being able to go around and kind of choose a path of whether to be good or bad. In the end, I chose to be good, and I find it, I'm not like that in games. I can't like go off and just kill random good people, and I don't have it in me, you know. I think I did a little bit of that at GTA back in the day. But anyway, Red Dead Redemption, love this game. I thought it was a really beautiful Western. Also, I love the music and had a blast playing that. So that is, again, on my runner-up list. Here's a game I just bought and just finished right before the holiday season, and that is Super Mario RPG. Now, I never played the original version of this on the Super Nintendo, so this was a real treat for me. And I could absolutely see how this would be an amazing entry point for anyone wanting to get into role-playing games for the very first time. What a treat. I loved the music. The music was fantastic. I love the characters. I love the sarcasm. I love the humor of these characters. I did a whole deeper dive in my games that I completed this year video. But I thought this was a real treat. In fact, I picked up a copy for my daughter for Christmas. So she's going to play it here before school gets back in session. And I want to sit and enjoy it through her eyes again. So I had a blast with it. I really did. I thought I could see how this would be the perfect entry point to anyone wanting to get into RPGs. And if I could, I wish I would have played this back in the day. I would have loved it back in the day, and I loved it now. I loved what they did with the character animations and the graphics and the updated pixel art. Just looked beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so those are the runners-up. And there's probably plenty of other ones I could have added to the runners-up list, but that's good enough for now. So now let's get into my top 6. These are my top 6 favorite games of the year. Let's start with number 6. This is a Nintendo Switch game. It came out almost a year ago in January of 2023, and that is Fire Emblem Engage. Right from 1,000 years ago, shaking off a hazy dream. Man, I never played a Fire Emblem game before, and my son and I just fell in love with this game. People said that the story was a little weak, it was shallow, it wasn't as dense. That was fine for me. I loved the strategy. The story, I didn't care to go too deeply into it. It gave me enough of a story. Frankly, I wanted to get back to the strategy. I wanted to get back to the fighting and the battles. That's all I care about in a game like this anyway. And I loved all of the different level design, having to think about the flooding of the water on certain scenes, and okay, now in the darkness over here, I can't see past this because it's too dark. Is there going to be some corrupted, hiding in the shadows? And really, really fantastic. I loved building up my characters, leveling up. I had just a blast playing this game, and this is one of those games I've been thinking a lot about lately. I don't know. First of all, I love the artwork on this too. I think it's beautiful. I really love this cell shading here. I think it's beautiful. But I've been thinking a lot about this game that I want to go back and play it again. Now that I know more of the mechanics, again, I never played a Fire Emblem game before. So by the time I was done with the game, I felt like I really knew what I was doing. And then you think back to the first 10 levels. Wow, I could have done so much better earlier on, now knowing what I know now and what to do. And so I think I want to go back and replay this game. But I've got a lot of other games to play. So that's number 6 on my list, was Fire Emblem Engage. Okay, number 5 on my list, favorite game of the year. First time also ever playing an Armored Core game. Here we go, Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon. Again, never played an Armored Core game. I love mechs though. What boy doesn't love mechs, right? And love the idea of being able to build out your mech, different guns, having to make sure that you have a certain power on your suit to enable these different guns and backpacks and jetpacks and all of those things to work properly. I loved how the game just runs like butter. I can't believe the amount of things that are happening on the screen, and missiles flying, and just the slightest movement out of the way to avoid a missile. And I mean, the game is flawless. I didn't notice any kind of problems with it. I don't know if there was frame drops or people were complaining about it. I thought it played like butter. To me, it was a beast of a game, and I don't know how human beings could build a game like this. Missiles flying everywhere, and dodging and rolling and moving out of the way, and using your thrusts to dodge to get through this story. At the end of the day, I didn't even care about the story. I mean, ask me to really recount the story at all, and I can't. I just wanted to play. I just wanted to shoot stuff. I wanted to be a mech. I beat this game. And as I did in a whole other video, I did a video about one of the most difficult boss battles I've ever had, which was the sea spider. I've talked about this extensively now, but the boss battles in this really made you appreciate just when you beat them, how much practice and attention you have to put into each of these different battles to progress and beat these bosses. It really is such an enjoyable experience to finally beat a boss after 2-3 days of working on it. Really had a lot of fun with this. And then I did the online version. This was my first online game that I ever played as well. And I played with a friend. We played for hours, battling mechs in the city back and forth. And we were just on the phone, just playing. And, you know, he would win one, I would win one, he would win one, I would win one. Then my son jumped in and played and all of this. And it was just an absolute treat to be able to play the online version of this and experience online play for the very first time, something I'd never did. And so Armored Core, you were the first game to get me to play online. What a treat this was. So number 5 on my list, Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon. Okay, the next 4, very difficult for me to put them in this order, but I think at the end of the day, this makes the most sense for me, for the ones that I think resonated with me the most. Now, number 4 on my list, I thought maybe this would actually be higher on the list, but no, it is number 4 on my list, and that is Spider-Man 2, Marvel Spider-Man 2. Boy, what do you say about this game? Absolutely beautiful. First of all, the first 20-30 minutes of this game is arguably the greatest opening of a game I've ever experienced, and huge Sandman fan, so to see these battles unfolding early on was beautiful, amazing. As a huge Spider-Man fan my whole life, I grew up reading Amazing Spider-Man comics, Web of Spider-Man, the Todd McFarlane Spider-Man series. So, I thought, maybe, well, this could be number 1. I thought this could be number 1 on my list. I loved every moment of this game. I really enjoyed, and I love the stealth missions with MJ. I love the Venom scenes. I love Miles Morales scenes. I love the crossover between them. I love the enemies doing the different side missions. I nearly 100%ed this game. I'm like at 98%. I beat the game, but there was like 1 or 2 little tiny not a side mission, like a trophy, like doing aerial assaults or something like that would unlock a certain, when you're doing pirouettes in the sky and flipping and all of that. So I missed that. I need to go back and finish that, but I did everything. I thought this might be higher on my list, but at the end of the day, there's these other games that just really stayed with me in a way that Spider-Man 2 didn't. But that's not to say this wasn't an amazing game. I think this is one of the most amazing action-adventure games ever made. Beautiful what they did with the city, the fast travel, the battle mechanics, the combat was amazing. Being able to use all of these different Venom moves was just beautiful, and the story is fantastic. So yes, that is number 4 on my list, Spider-Man 2, Marvel's Spider-Man 2. All right, we're down to the top 3, and number 3 on my list is Metroid Prime Remastered. Now, I'd never played Metroid Prime. I love Metroid games. As I mentioned before, the first game I ever beat was Metroid. So Metroid has a soft spot in my heart. And I'd never played the first-person Metroid Prime. When this came out, I was blown away by it. I immediately downloaded it. Atmospherically, the music, I love the way that they bring you into this environment where it doesn't feel claustrophobic at all. You feel like you're a part of this spaceship, this world, as you're navigating these hallways and tunnels and all of it. And genuinely creepy, and plenty of jump scares with enemies jumping out of nowhere that you have to tackle and take care of, and some of the most beautiful atmospheric music in any video game ever. Like I've said it before, but Frendrana Drifts, the music in the snow with the piano, just unbelievable synth playing in the background. Just gorgeous what they've been able to do to this, and I'm sold. I can't wait to play the other in these series. Prime 2, Prime 3, and of course whenever Prime 4 manages to come out. I hope they release these all on the Nintendo Switch in a remastered series. It'd be amazing to have Prime 2, Prime 3 on, and I almost want them to have them on 2 separate carts. Like, I don't need to have a jumbo pack like they did with Pikmin 1 and 2. It's fine. I'll take it. I certainly won't leave it. But this was a real experience for me. And I have to say, my son just started playing it during the holiday season here. So I played it early in the year when it came out, beat it, And then now I'm watching and helping him kind of navigate through it for the first time again. So I'm getting to watch it through his eyes now, and he's absolutely loving the game. I'm helping him out a little bit because I think it's, with the breadcrumbs issue and kind of backtracking back and forth, it can be a little, it's maybe a little antiquated, I think, for maybe modern gamers, but he's figuring it out. So we're going through it together. And we had the influenza that ran through our house over the past few days. So this was a good sit in bed, relax, play this game. And I just sat with him and we played for a couple of hours together. So he's doing really, really well as well. So again, Metroid Prime Remastered, number 3 on my list. All right, number 2 on the list. This game has stayed with me and blew me away. I'd never played a Resident Evil game, and boy, did I love this one. Resident Evil 4, the remake, the remaster, the remake. I guess more of a remake, really. Very true to the original, but also completely rebuilding the game, really from the ground up, and adding all sorts of new touches and elements that they didn't have in the original. Talk about scary as hell. This game is a nail biter, and that first few minutes where you're in that house and you're having to go into the basement and you're hearing the creepiness of these, oh my god, talk about creepy as hell. I don't know what you say about this game. That first village scene was terrifying, and with all of these villagers, they're so aggressive, coming after you and running around from house to house, and you're trying to hide, otherwise you're gonna get ripped apart by these guys. Absolutely terrifying. The story is fantastic. The combat is amazing. To me, there's so many games that can learn from this combat. Like I just finished playing Alan Wake Remastered, the very first Alan Wake, and I found the combat to be incredibly cumbersome. And I just thought, God, think about how amazing Resident Evil 4 is up against Alan Wake Remastered. It's just, steal the combat. It just, even if it's just rotating through your guns and your arsenal and all of that, just such a great experience. Playing Resident Evil 4. I cannot wait to play other games in this series now, and I have not even played the Ada Wong DLC as well, Separate Ways. So I've downloaded that, ready to go. But this was really one of the greatest games I've ever played, and it's amazing to me that it's number 2 on my list, because perhaps in any other year, this game would be number 1 on my list. It was that impactful for me. And it was weird. I played it during the summer too, which is odd. You think you play it like Halloween time. No, I even played it during the summer, and it had that much of an impact on me. But I love the combat. I love the level design. I love being scared out of my mind. I love the pacing, the moments where you got to rest and go and get the typewriter and go to the, take a moment to level up and buy some extra stuff there at the shopkeeper and all of that. So Resident Evil 4 Remastered, unbelievable, number 2 on my list. And that brings me to perhaps an obvious number 1, but I don't know that I've ever played a game like this, and I think it's probably the greatest video game I've ever played, and maybe the greatest video game ever made, in my humble opinion. And that is, of course, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. This game, my son and I couldn't wait to play when it came out in May. We were just talking about it for weeks and weeks and weeks ahead of time, and we both played it together. I just finished it here before the end of the year. I took a long break, played a whole bunch of other games. My son finished it earlier. I put nearly, 400 hours into this game. I think was the total at the end of the day, was about 400 hours or so. And I just can't believe that people were able to come up with this game, the size and scope of this experience. I mean, I was playing Starfield this year, and I can't believe just walking through a door, I've got a loading screen, or just walking into a hallway, there's a loading screen. But here in Legend of Zelda on the Nintendo Switch, an 8-year-old platform, I can jump from the Sky Islands all the way down through to to Hyrule and all the way straight down into the depths without a loading screen. On a Nintendo Switch. 8-year-old hardware. How is that possible? I mean, forgetting the technical wizardry that Nintendo managed to pull off with this on a 16 gigabyte Switch cart. I don't know how they pulled that off. The game was so immersive and compelling and dense, and I felt like I was in this world and I didn't want to leave it. And when I took a break from it, because I wanted to play some other games, and I didn't want to finish it. The reason I took a break was not because I was sick of it, but was because I wanted to come back to it. And I wanted to I guess savor it is the right word. I wanted to savor it and come back to it later. And that's exactly what I did, and I finished it here during the holiday season. And it was amazing to be thrown back into that world again. I think I put another like 60 hours into the game just to finish it, to finish a bunch of side quests, to level up my armor to level 4, to get every heart chamber. So every heart container was filled, all of my stamina was filled, all of it. And then I finally went on and played to beat Ganondorf. And what an unbelievable experience. Again, I don't know how you can top this. Again, I just don't know how people were able to come together and create and conceive of a game like this. Like, hey, yeah, let's ascend through rocks. Let's use Ultra Hand and like fuse items together. And there were so many things in this game that I know I did the wrong way. In fact, I think I did everything the wrong way. When I had to cross a bridge or when I had to do something, I was constantly coming up with different ways to build things in order to solve a puzzle, to get across, or to move a ball into a shrine thing and all of that. Constantly. And it forces children, it forces adults to be creative with how they're going to solve all of these things. And I was blown away by it. But it didn't bother me. Like it wasn't like I was constantly doing puzzles and I was like, oh my God, I have to figure this thing out. No, to me, it was just an amazing part of this experience. And I absolutely loved it. So yeah, number 1 on my list for 2023, not a surprise. And you know, I should point out, I haven't played Baldur's Gate 3. I haven't played Alan Wake 2. I just finished Alan Wake 1. So these are the games I played in 2023. We'll see in 2024 if I can get to some, past year's games and see how they shape up. But for me in this year, this was my top game, and that is The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom is number 1 on my list. And to me also, I should say, being able to play it together with my son, that was a major piece of this experience. Like if it was just me playing it by myself, I think I still would have loved it and probably still would have been my game of the year. But to have that shared experience where when we both started playing it within the same day, we were at totally different ends of the map. And he was discovering things I wasn't, and I was discovering things he wasn't. So we had no idea what was going on. Like, I was like, where are you? What? And that's this right from the beginning of this game. You're thrust into this world and it totally becomes your own version of the game. And that was really special, but also we had that shared connection that was very special to me. So I will never forget this. I will never forget being able to share this game with my son, my 12-year-old son, who then became 13 by the time he finished it. So unbelievable. I'd love to hear from you guys. What do you guys think? What's your favorite game of 2023? Can you drop me a comment down below? Let me know. Game that came out in 2023 and that you played and completed and you loved. What was that game? Drop it in the comments below. I'm looking forward to an amazing 2024, playing a lot of great games. I've got a lot listed up and ready to go, so we will do a lot more videos. Much love to all of you guys. Happy New Year, and we'll see you real soon.